So everybody, since I was working on helping the young men with their lawsuits and trying to keep truth on the air, I missed 2 or 3 days worth of Julian, and there's a pile of things to go over because the last time I saw his Twitter was like the 22nd. Okay, I want to introduce Tracy Doherty McCormick. She is the United States Attorney, and she is in the Eastern District of Virginia, and it's called EDVA. So I want to point this out, and I've got her address and the address of this court, which is 401 Courthouse Square, Alexandria, Virginia, 22314. And what I would like people to do is send her, because she's on Julian's case, a letter of support for Julian. Everyone, it's like 50 cents to send a stamped envelope. And you have to do it the old-fashioned way. These people really can't operate from Twitter. But how about bombarding her with a few thousand support letters for Julian? Nothing like a little First Amendment pressure. And we need to do that. So that I was praying I got a sign or something that I knew. I wrote, I'm going to start to cry, and I just finished crying. But I had asked him for, what can I do? What can I do? How can I help? So I'm not saying he's answering me personally, but this is how to help. So I have to compose myself so I can get through the rest of us. I'm so emotional because when you're a fixer and when you care so much, you want to do what you need to do to get to everybody. So I want to go over what's happening with him and why it's so important to reach her. And once again, I'm going to put the address up here, and I will put the link to this plus the address inside my video, because this is how we can help. And it's like crystal clear. So let's go back to his account. Actually, I'm going to start at the top here and move me over here so that we can go down his wall on Twitter. This is his pinned tweet talking. This is an amazing video to watch about the arrests. But this part is, that was from last year, a year ago. And so, it's important to understand that to get the basis of everything they're after him for. So Julian tweeted that 16 people were, I'm going to get to the tweet in a second, but 16 people were involved in a fraud scheme to go after him, and they've been exposed. So and he tells this in different languages so that people understand. And advocate means helper. And I believe, is that the same person? It's so hard for me to know. I don't think it is, but there might be other people helping him. So he's announcing this in different languages. But what he said is 16 female lawyers who work for a Swedish law firm, which pushed to arrest me, meaning him, I was cleared, came forth to denounce the firm as a financial racket and as its head as an abusive fraud. And there's the link. And I will put that inside the blog and the video. And so the UK, everybody, suffers from the same fake news syndrome that the United States does, because fake news is an industry. It's I don't know how many billion-dollar industry worldwide, but they make money from fake stories and fake headlines and pushing us with a narrative that they want us to believe. So in the UK, like the USA, there are laws and protocol in accordance to being able to have the privilege to be able to report. The press must take care not to publish inaccurate, misleading, or distorted information. If there were any enforcement of it, every UK mainstream newspaper would be shut down tomorrow. And that's true. They're like here. If we applied the laws for journalism and the FCC regulations, which would prohibit falsely lying to people with a microphone and posting it all over the media, every one of them would be out of business and many of them would be locked up. And so we're doing a push across the globe to take down the fake news industry, and they're striking it even harder by trying to continue to promote fake headlines and reverse their power over us with a fake news brand. And it's very important that we understand it's global. But I love that it's being exposed all over the place. And for Julian to retweet this is huge, because it goes onto his wall and everybody knows that everybody's working against the lie and the fake news industry. So and this is huge, because this has to do with the Hillary and Obama administration, and they're talking about Rosenstein. There's evidence that Ukraine, UK, Saudi Arabia, and Israel were engaged in influence operations, and possibly a number of other states. Which country is being protected by Rosenstein? Huge breadcrumb. Why is it that country or the campaign it's connected to above the law? So we need to find out what that's all about. This is all talking about Hillary's campaign and Brennan, and Mueller, whatever, terms the reference the only target of the Trump campaign was Russia. Just days later, CIA Director John Brennan admitted under oath to Congress that other countries attempted to influence the election. Then Brennan resigned. So these are all massive things that are taking down. What happens when these people all engaged in these crimes? They were banking on Hillary to win, and they're all getting in trouble for answering them now, but it's affecting him in his country because there's false charges pending on him still. Okay. Also, what the media is trying to do to all of us truth tellers on YouTube, the internet, Twitter, other sites, is they are taking them down. And so Medium CEO, Twitter co-founder Evan Williams deletes the accounts and writings of U.S. anti-establishment new right figures, Cernovich, Jack Posobiec, and Laura Loomer, in a control power grab. So I didn't even know that happened to them. And again, they cannot do this. Our job is to file massive lawsuits because they're trying to influence the next election and leave only liberals on here, and so that any of our voices are not heard anywhere. And this is a huge, huge problem. I don't know, because I haven't been able to pay attention, if he's gone, if he actually did resign. I don't know the whole story behind that. I know there was a whole bunch of stuff about him. And here's another thing. So, but Barack Obama was like sort of strangely tied to Cuba, which is a dictator. And they're saying U.S. secretly created Cuban Twitter to stir unrest. I haven't been able to investigate this, but the link will be on my blog. What it sounds like is maybe many of our trolls, oops, they're real, but they're not from here. And they're perpetrating all the negative tweets that are always the ones we have to block. And then this has things about New Zealand and Kim.com, and they've now given him a speeding ticket. And I don't know if they're trying to get rid of him because of that. It sounds like it. I don't know, but that's scary. And when we go down here further, Lori Love seems to be the one that's defending him. And we'll have to see what happens with all of that. But here he is talking about Edward Snowden and Kim.com are being prosecuted by that thing where Julian is, which forms the center of the U.S. government's lawfare efforts, where it tries to virtually occupy other states through the creeping application of extraterritorial jurisdiction. And what it means is that the USA is trying, and this used to happen under Hillary and Obama, that they would have control and power of things beyond the United States and persecute people like Julian, like Kim.com, like Snowden, even though they're no longer here. So this is huge. But again, our job is to send letters to her supporting Julian. And all we have to do in a letter is free Julian to her and say you cannot hold false charges. And when they get bombarded and they have to wear the guilt, things move right along. So that's what we have to do. And I pray, because I asked him if there's any way for me to do anything, let me know. I don't know if this is what it is, but if it's what it is, I'm trying to do my job, and I want everyone else to do it as well. And so we have all kinds of people working to end these criminal things that happen within the United States that affect and influence other countries, and that target people that, even if they're not residing here or whatever, have told truth from afar, and then they're after them and they cannot be. And United States needs to belong to this country, and we need to stay within our law system, get out of the UN, and other people from other countries have free speech if their country allows it, and we don't get to control their narrative, especially if we don't like it. The reason they're after these people is for their truth and trying to save us and expose the crimes on our government. And that's reprehensible. And if we don't fight this and finish it soon, they're going to continue this past the 2018 elections into more. Julian needs to be free like yesterday, the year before, and the year before that. And so our letters need to go out to her. Here's the address: 401 Courthouse Square, Alexandria, Virginia. And here is her full name, Tracy Doherty McCormick. And she needs to know, she needs to do her job, and our job is to free Julian. Thank you.